Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Under Armour Speedform CRM in the latest camouflage colorway. Now inside the box, all you get are the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. So let me get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at this really interesting looking shoe from Under Armour. Now in today's video, we are of course going to take a closer look at the colorway itself. We're going to go over the tech specs, talk performance, take a look at the weight, as well as take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more about the Speedform CRM, please stick around, watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $220 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, I've said this many times before on the channel, I'm generally not a huge fan of wearing really flashy shoes, but this one is an exception. I can't wait to wear these things, mainly because I just love the look of the camo pattern on the upper, especially that it's green. It just has a very cool kind of military hunting vibe, especially with the bright orange accents. Now, if you guys saw my video on the camo colorway of the Clutch Fit, the alternate high-end model from Under Armour, these look a little bit different. It's technically the same camo pattern, but because the surface of the upper is smooth as well as matte on this particular shoe, I feel like the camo just stands out a little bit more. It's a very tough looking shoe because of the graphic on the upper. Let me know your opinions on it though down below in the comment section. So the camo is made up of 3 different colors. You have black, you have a green color, then you have kind of like a greenish tan, I guess is the best way to describe it. I'm not sure exactly what you would call that. You have the army green in the fused off parts here on the lateral and medial side of the shoe. On the very back of the shoe, you may have seen some of these shoes in this colorway that have the Memphis Depay signature in orange. Those were kind of press kit shoes. The actual production version doesn't have anything on the heel of either shoe, as you guys can see. So if you do order a pair, they'll look exactly like the ones I have right here. And then of course, to go along with that camo pattern, you're gonna find bright orange accents in all of the Under Armour branding across the entire shoe, the laces, the heel counter, as well as the entire sole plate, with some bright neon yellow popping there through the heel counter that of course you won't actually see when you're wearing the shoes. So that's pretty much it in terms of the aesthetics. I really think they're cool looking shoes, but everyone's gonna have their own opinion. Let me know yours down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the Speedform CRM from Under Armour is an absolutely fantastic shoe and one that provides a very unique playing experience. What I will say about the Under Armour brand in general is that they are very much underrated in today's current soccer cleat environment. Obviously, they're not the most established brand when you're talking about soccer-specific footwear, but the top-end models they're putting out right now, whether it be the Speedform CRM or the Clutch Fit, they're both absolutely amazing shoes that a lot of people just aren't even considering, mainly because they're made by Under Armour. So I know a lot of you guys do trust my opinion on this channel. That's why you guys watch me every single day. But what I will say is that if you're looking to kind of stray away from the big 3 companies, Nike, Adidas, and Puma, and you just want something that's different, interesting, and unique, Under Armour is one of those brands that you should take a good, strong look at because like I said, they're making some amazing products at the moment. So, Speedform CRM, what are you actually getting here? This, of course, is the synthetic upper variation, which is thin, but not overly thin. It's kind of one of those in-between type shoes. The upper is a Speedform synthetic, as the name of the shoe would suggest. And this one's actually a little bit different than the launch colorway, which is what I have right here. You're gonna notice that visually, obviously they're a lot different, completely different pattern on the upper, but the material on the surface, the top layer of the synthetic is actually different as well. On the launch color, it was kind of a harder, not necessarily plasticky material, but a plastic-like type of material in that it is a little bit stiff out of the box. It did soften up significantly after some wear time, but like I said, a little bit firmer than I would like it to be, and also one that provides kind of a slick type of surface on the ball, so not a lot of additional grip whatsoever. Whereas on this camo colorway, they've actually switched things up. The surface material is a little bit thinner, and it's also a lot softer. It's more of like a synthetic leather type of feel. And it also has somewhat of a matte finish, kind of a slight grit to it. Reminds me a little bit of what you get on the Nike Magista Opus, which is a good thing. So you're getting a little bit extra grip on the ball, not enough to where the shoe actually feels grippy or sticky or anything like that, just enough to where the ball doesn't feel like it's sliding off your foot as soon as it makes contact. And like I said, the actual thickness of this top layer does feel a little bit thinner, which just makes for a more natural sensation out of the box in general. These, to me, feel a little bit better than the launch colorway, so that is something worth keeping in mind if you are planning on picking these up. As far as the synthetic material itself is concerned, like I said, it is a Speedform synthetic. That's what they call it. You have a top layer, which makes up the finish of the upper. You have a mid layer, which is kind of a mesh type material that you can actually kind of see here on the launch color. And then you have an internal layer that is essentially a synthetic suede. And you're going to see a very unique construction to the shoe, something we'll talk about more in just a second. The laces run through the middle of the shoe where you have a synthetic tongue that is not exactly the same thickness as the rest of the shoe, but very similar, has perforations running through the lower half as well. And basically it's a shoe that is thin in terms of the touch that it provides, but it doesn't have that lack of padding. There is a little bit of a cushion sensation on the ball, and if I had to compare it to anything else out there on the market right now, it might be something like the Nike Magista Opus, or maybe even the Adidas Messi 15.1 might be a closer comparison, but nonetheless, still unique, and there really isn't too much that I would compare this shoe in terms of how it feels on the ball. It's thin, but not too thin, if that makes any sense. Now, moving on to the rear portion of the shoe, you are going to find an external heel counter, which we'll get back to in just a second. But what's really unique about this shoe is the way that it fits and feels on your feet due to its unique internal construction. So around the heel area, you're going to find that it flows from a heel liner that's a padded mesh material into an insole. There isn't actually an insole. It's completely one piece, totally seamless, as you guys can see, which kind of takes from their Speedform running line. I've worn the Speedform running shoes, actually a big fan of them, and this is kind of exactly what they've done on those shoes in the form of a soccer cleat with, of course, some modifications. This creates a really interesting type of sensation because there is no insole, which would normally be attributed to a cheaper low-end soccer shoe. They've just done kind of an all-in-one construction here, so it's completely seamless on the inside. Really, really interesting, no exposed stitching. You can see you do have these fused on pieces right here on the outside of the shoe. They do have actually cover up stitching areas where the upper actually attaches the front and half back, the front half and the back half of the shoe, but you can see those are actually covered up with synthetic suede pieces right here on the inside. And then all of the neon yellow parts are a very soft mesh material, good padding. You can see there's a soft layer of foam right here in the heel. You have extra material, or extra foam I should say, running through the midfoot as well as through the entire forefoot as well. So I'm trying to give you guys a good look at this, but really, really interesting construction. Because of this lack of insole, the shoe has more of a running shoe-like feel on your foot in terms of the cushioning. It's got this very soft kind of cushioned foam that, of course, isn't cushioned with every step. Once you step down on it, all of this foam compresses, and then you get the foam on the underside of all that material, which still provides as much cushioning as you would normally get from a standard pair of soccer shoe insoles. But what's great about this construction is that the shoe feels very one-to-one on your foot. It doesn't feel like there's any kind of moving pieces in the shoe. It doesn't feel like anything sliding around. It has this truly kind of natural sensation, which is really, really unlike anything else out there on the market. You could say you kind of get that sock-like one-to-one experience from something like a Magista Obra, a Superfly 4, the Flyknit models from Nike, but this is kind of a different experience altogether, in that it just feels like it's a seamless piece of footwear on your foot. Not necessarily a sock-like sensation, but the shoe is kind of formed around your foot with no overlapping material, no little lumps or any kind of stitching or anything like that. It's just a very seamless sensation. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. You're also going to find that around the heel liner, you're going to find this kind of rubberized grip type element in the form of kind of a pinstripe running along the top edge here. Something that is very minor. It's not a huge feature at all. I'm trying to get it to focus there. You can see it's slightly shinier than the rest. That there actually does grip your socks pretty nicely, just helping to secure the shoe and the sides of the upper in place when you do pull the laces tight, so it's not popping out on you or anything like that. A nice little feature that I wish they would put on more shoes, actually. Really, really like that element of the Speedform. And another kind of unique element of the shoe that's not super noticeable when you're actually wearing them is this kind of shape they have here in the toe box. They've stamped in kind of the little splits here where your toes would technically be in the actual upper. It gives it a kind of cool, unique look. It's a little bit more difficult to see on this camo colorway, but in all honesty, when you're actually wearing the shoe, even when it's on your foot, it's not something that you notice whatsoever. So just keep that in mind. Now moving back to the rear of the shoe, again, you do have this large external heel counter. That's a very thick plastic, very, very solid, keeps your heel from sliding side to side, and also provides a ton of extra protection at the rear of the shoe that you wouldn't otherwise have. And then of course the sole plate, pretty straightforward. It's made from a Pebax material, but has some really good thickness to it. So very, very solid, but still maintains a good flexibility in the forefoot, which is really nice. So they don't feel overly stiff from out of the box, but they do feel very unique. You feel like you're sitting directly on top of the sole plate. There's not a lot of material between your foot and the bottom of the shoe, but stud pressure is still not an issue, which is very, very surprising. And then of course, moving on to the stud pattern, you have an all bladed stud pattern. This is a variation that we have seen from Under Armour in the past. Nothing too fancy. The studs are bladed, but they kind of have rounded edges to them, as you guys can see. So they dig into the ground quite nicely and still provide really, really good kind of maneuverability when your foot is planted. You never feel like you're locked in place. Reminds me a little bit of what you get from the Mercurial line, but definitely not quite as aggressive in terms of the amount of bite that it provides. It's a stud pattern that gets the job done. Really no complaints about it, and that's pretty much what I have to say about it. All around, it's a very, very good shoe, very unique in terms of what it has to offer. And if all that sounds good to you, then yes, the Speedform CRM is a shoe that I can very strongly recommend, depending, again, on what you're looking for. In terms of weight, the Speedform CRM is pretty light, as you'd expect. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9.5 US. We're going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.7 ounces, the equivalent of 218 grams. And if you guys saw my video on these guys right here, the standard synthetic variation of the Speedform CRM, you'll notice that these things are about 0.3 ounces lighter, which is not a lot, but it is worth noting. I think the reason for the weight decrease with this particular colorway is the difference in the synthetic on the very surface of the upper. That's really the only thing that I can see that they've actually changed on the shoe. So if you're looking for the lightest possible variation of the Speedform CRM, this camo variation looks to be it. And at 7.7 ounces, it definitely isn't the lightest shoe that money can buy, but they're still nice and light on feet. And just because of the way they fit and feel as well, you feel like you're attached or a part of the shoe, which makes them feel even lighter than they actually are. So again, if you're going for that lightweight feel, the Speedform CRM is definitely going to provide that. All right, so here is a look at the Speedform CRMs on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock orange laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of green camo SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're very, very unique. Because of the lack of an insole, the insole is kind of built into the entirety of the interior of the shoe, you feel very grounded in this shoe. You kind of feel like you're sitting directly on top of the sole plate. You feel everything under your feet, but not in a way that feels uncomfortable. You're connected to the rest of the shoe, if that makes any sense. It gives you a sense of stability and just a really, really, really unique feeling that I would say is very positive. I just like how they feel. It's definitely a different sensation, but one that, like I said, I think is very positive as kind of an end result. As far as the upper is concerned, it's a little bit firm from right out of the box, but does soften up after some wear time. I will argue that, again, these feel a little bit softer out of the box than the launch colorway did because of the different material on the surface of the upper. And if I were to buy a pair of Speedform CRMs, I think it would be this particular version just because of the different finish. As far as the overall fit of the shoe is concerned, it is a tighter fitting shoe, but it definitely isn't overly narrow. They're going to be suitable for most people. The upper really doesn't stretch all that much though, so if you have really, really wide feet, maybe not the best option for you, but again, they will be suitable for most people. The toe box isn't perfectly rounded either. It has a little bit of a Puma vibe where it's kind of more anatomically shaped, a little bit of a point at the big toe, and then it kind of curls around, but again, not quite to the same extreme as what you're going to find from Puma's Evo Speed line, for example. So for the most part, they feel pretty normal. That doesn't really take any getting used to. And in regards to sizing, they run about a half size small. So instead of wearing my usual size 9 US, I bumped it up to a 9.5, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So this goes for Under Armour shoes in general, as well as the Speedform CRM. If you are looking to buy a pair of these, I would strongly recommend going a half size up in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the Camo Speedform CRM. The camo color looks great. It kind of just blends into its environment. Plus the shoe in general is just a very, very good performer and provides a unique feel overall. So if you guys are interested in more info on this particular shoe, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find high quality images of this exact pair that'll give you a better idea as to how they actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $220 retail price. So again, if you're interested in the pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the Speedform CRM, be sure to leave them down below in the comment section of this video, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, thanks for watching.